all of us have problems with our digestion now because of the fact that they're sticking all these things in, right? So the thing is to keep your food as real as possible and as fresh as possible if you can. Uh, what I did, if any of you are having terrible problems with your stomach and don't know what to eat, everything is disagreeing with you. I was there at one stage, and this is what I did. I went out to a lady in the woodlands, and she was doing a course. And what she did was she pared back everything to the bare minimum. So we got right back to the basics of just rice for 3 days, right? So we did rice for it, and did that work? Yes or no? And if it did, carry on. You add peas to the rice and you carry on for a few days. And if that worked, you add carrots to the dish. And if that worked, you add chicken to the dish. And if that worked, you've got a whole dish there, right? So you put that aside and you allow that to be one dish, right? That it completely agrees with you, right? Now, each dish you can mix in with other things. So you can have potatoes, right? So you come along and you've just plain potatoes, no butter, no salt, no nothing, just a plain potato. The actual sweet potato is more nutritionally dense than a potato. So if you want, you can have a sweet potato. I preferred sweet potatoes, but either will do. Either will do. So you're just basically trying to get stuff into your diet that will actually suit your system. So you have the potato, and you can have that for 3 days, say, and you just leave it at that. And then on the next day, you say, right, okay, I'll add a little bit of butter to that and some peas, because you know the peas work. So that'll be fine. So if anything's not working, it'll be the butter, right? So you'll add the bit of butter and you'll add the peas and you'll have that. And you can, and believe you me, I have eaten baked potatoes for 2.5 weeks. And the only thing I could eat was baked potatoes for 2.5 weeks one time. So basically, yeah, so that's it. And then you can add in your chicken because you had your chicken from the last one, or you can change it to lamb or beef, trying out those. But make a note of what you're adding in, because it's you'll know that if you add it in and it disagrees with you, then you've got to eliminate it, and it goes into the notebook as absolutely not, right? Now, you will have enough foods in there to keep you full. There's no fear of you being hungry, right? You will not be hungry. The important thing is you need to give your system a rest, because your system, if it's going into spasm all the time from foods that are disagreeing with you, or additives, or any of the rest of those things that are disagreeing with you, your stomach is going into spasm, your intestines and everything are going into spasm. That's not good for you, right? I'd say you'll be lucky enough with all the fresh fruit and veg. Now, I wouldn't do too much fruit at the beginning if your stomach is well. I'd start examining the vegetables because they're softer on your system. I would leave the fruit to test that till about week 2, at least, and then introduce the mildest fruit first. But at that stage, you'll have introduced different meats, different veggies. You'll have introduced the rice and the potatoes. You can try the pasta. The pasta might disagree with you, but you'll know, and then you'll go, right, pasta's not for me. But not all pastas are equal. If you buy pasta that's from Italy, that is far better for you and has less additives than the pasta from Ireland or anywhere else, right? The rules for making pasta in Italy are far better. And you'll know that if you've ever gone to Italy and you eat your pasta, you'll know you don't feel bloated, you don't put on loads of weight, you don't do anything. I was there for 3 weeks and I ate pasta all around me, and I couldn't do that here without putting on half a stone. I put on no weight. I couldn't believe it when I got home. So pasta in Italy is made from scratch. It's made very, very well, and they're not allowed to add in half the additives that they add into these ones in Ireland. So that's another thing. So cut back your foods and introduce slowly other foods. And then cut out what doesn't work. It's as simple as that, right? And it will do you the world of good. If you do that, you will have no problems with your food. Now, you won't be eating at home every night. So what I do is, and it works for me and it works for a lot of others. Digestive enzymes. I take them before I go out, and I bring at least 6 with me. So I'll take 2 before I go out, and then I'll bring 6 just in case I need them. And I'll take 2 after the main meal, right? Okay, if I'm having dessert. I don't recommend desserts. They are full of, full of colorings, additives, sugars, blah, blah, blah. But if you really want one, you'll have to take more digestive enzymes probably afterwards. I find the desserts really aggravate me. Now, if it's a plant-based one, it's not as bad. I can tolerate it. But the regular desserts, they're just full of crap, to be honest. I mean, let's call a spade here, So that's it regarding the reintroduction of foods. So I hope that helps. Now, when you're buying foods, I thought I knew it all, right? Okay, I was going into the shop and I was looking at my labels and I was looking at the front. I have a whole lot of stuff here to show you. So if you look at what I used to do is I'd look at the front of the tin and I'd look down here and I'd see all greens and I'd think, oh, I'm grand. I'd buy that and away you go. I was wrong. I learned that you do have to, I will go through all these. Not yet, but I will go through it in a minute. You have to look at the back and you have to see what the ingredients are. Now, the beans, if you have beans, they need to be a large percentage. You probably can't see that, but the beans here are 56% and the tomatoes are 27%. There's water, and the fourth ingredient is sugar, right? There is salt, a bit of seasoning. There is other kind of flavorings and stuff, which isn't too bad, right? But it's not great. But because it's beans, the nutritional density is good, because not all processed foods are equal. So you're allowed beans, like say you have red kidney beans, you have chickpeas, all those in water, preferably, right? So yeah, but when you're buying them, I have 2 different types of beans here, right? 2 different labels, right? And what you need to do is to look at the label, the little bit down here, okay? And you look at this and you compare one to the other. Like say this has 1.2 grams of salt, and this one has 18 grams of salt, right? You'd look at the fat is 1.5 in this can. The fat in this can is 0.8. But the sugars, you got to watch the sugars. The sugars in this one is 9.2 grams, and the sugars in this one are 11.1 grams, right? So you got to watch the labels, and just if there's more than one choice, right, you got to look at it and say, right, okay, which is the best option here? Okay, how do we get out of this? Okay, so which is the best option? Okay, so that goes for everything that you pick up, right? Look at the labels. Now, I wouldn't be buying too many thin stuff, but the beans are okay. The things like sardines are okay. Mackerel is okay. If you can have them in olive oil, but I know I like them in tomato sauce. But the nutritional value of the sardines is so fantastic that you can get away with a little tomato sauce, in fairness, right? Okay, we're going for the 80-20 rule here. We don't want to kill ourselves altogether, So I mean, but it's very important that you do have a look at the percentages and stuff and the ingredients. Make sure that the ingredients, if there's oils included, make sure they're olive oil. If it's not olive oil, leave it behind. If it's palm oil, run. Right? Leave the palm oil out. Don't go near it. Go for the olive oil. And if you look at different brands, you'll find the olive oil, right, in the ingredients. If there's things like colorings and stuff, we'll go through all that in a minute. But The other thing, you want to try and keep your prices as much as you're paying now, or cheaper, obviously, because we want to kind of, we don't want this eating healthy thing to cost us more money. And to be honest about it, it doesn't, right? Because fruit and veg aren't expensive, right? Okay, fruit and veg aren't expensive. You can have a piece of, if you want to keep, if you want an economical part of a chicken, you go for the legs or the thighs, right? You can take off the skin, you can debone them if you want, you can leave the bone on. It's still a good nourishing piece of chicken. And you can have all the veg you want, right? And you can have a sweet potato with that as well if you want. So I mean, there's you can have 3 or 4 pieces of a different veg, right? If you want, stick them all in the steamer, let them on for 15 minutes or so, and they'll be beautiful. Or stick them in a roasting tin, stick them in the oven for half an hour. They'll be perfect, right? So by the time you have a look at the labels and you see what suits you, you'll have eliminated a lot of the crap that we buy, right? Because a lot of it is costing us a lot of money. And if you added up all the like rubbish we buy, you will it'll balance out, right? And you know you have good food in your cupboards, and that will lead to feeling better. Your mood will be better. You'll be brighter. You'll look better. So that's all very important. So look at the labels. There's 3 steps for the process of looking at labels. It's called flip, flag, and fuel. Let's see now. Flip. Flip the packet, right? See the first 3 ingredients at the back, right? They should be good ingredients, right? No sugar, right? All real ingredients. Like you look at these, you have what did I say we have? We had beans, we had tomatoes, and we had water. Then came the sugar and stuff. But you basically look for the first 3 ingredients. You keep the list as short as possible, right? If you don't understand stuff, right, on the label, that's not great. But there's things on there like there's thiamine, there's monotrate, and there's ascorbic acid. These are actually okay, right? But there's things like colorings and additives and other things that aren't great for you. So try and keep the ingredients as simple as possible. Like some things will just have maybe the main ingredient plus one other and olive oil and maybe a tiny bit of salt. That's fine. Keep it, just the shorter the label of ingredients, the better, right? So you flip the packet, you see what the first 3 ingredients are. Anything with sucrose or fructose or any of those sugars or additives in it, just leave it behind. You may have a little bit, but make sure it's down the line. Any glucose or concentrates or anything like that, they're not great, really. You don't want to be seeing things like reds on the front for sure, right? Okay, that's the definite no. Okay, so let's see. We have processed food and we have ultra processed food. Now, not all processed foods are equal. Like I said, the beans, you'll be fine. Tomatoes are fine. But there's other things like tinned meats and stuff. I mean, you don't know what the hell's inside in them. If it's thing like sardines or mackerel, where they're a whole mackerel and stuff, they're fine. But there's some things like salamis and stuff and all these things. Yeah, leave them behind. You have kind of you don't know what they're putting in, like sausages. Who knows what's going into sausages? Like, I mean, God above. I don't think there's a nice part of it. It's like it's like all the parts you don't want to eat are in the sausages, like unless you get premium sausages or sausages made from your butcher himself, right? I go to my butcher and he'll make me up sausages. I don't really like pork sausages. I'll eat them if I have to, but I would prefer to eat chicken or beef or whatever. And he'll make me up and mint a lamb and mint sausages, and they're gorgeous, or he'll make me up a chicken and raisin sausage or something, something very healthy, and there's proper stuff going into it. There are, again, look at the ingredients on the back. There are good sausages out there. Just be careful. Ultra processed foods are a no-no. Things like waffles in the freezer. They're ultra processed. Like, I mean, they're not on. Like, you can get roast potatoes in the freezing aisle that are good. You can get chips in the freezer, but I would recommend just make your own chips. I mean, you get a potato, chop it up into little chunks, and there you go. Like, there's your chips. You wash them, put them in the air fryer for about whatever 20 minutes or whatever it takes, and you have your own chips. And you're not getting any oils or any kind of some of those seasonings even. Be careful with them. Make sure the Tesco seasonings are actually better than the Dunn Schwartz ones. Sometimes they put sugar in the seasonings, which is absolutely disgraceful. I don't know why they do that. So check your seasonings that it's just what you want in it. No sugars should be in seasonings. The companies that are making foods are in it for the profit, not for the health of us, right? And these tests that they do are done by companies that are associated with the product. So you get, companies that are they're involved in the sugar industry, and they're promoting sweets or whatever they're promoting because they know that sugar has to be used to make sweets and stuff. The tests have to be done independently by a company that has nothing to do with the product and doesn't benefit financially from the product, right? Otherwise, you're wasting your time. Real fruit ingredients versus synthetic additives. That's what you're against. And it's 90% of the supermarket is crap food, right? I mean, literally, you can eat your sourdough breads, which you can buy fresh in the supermarket. You can eat your rye breads. You can eat your fresh fruit and vegetables. You can eat your nuts and seeds. I'm just going through mentally through the supermarket. You can eat your fresh salads. You can eat your sardines, your fresh meats, your fresh free-range chickens. Be careful with the milks. We're really not meant to be drinking milks. Really, they're for calves, to be honest, and they are processed and stuff. It's not great. If you could switch over to other milks, it would be better for you. But if you like your milks, I'm not going to tell you can't have anything. They're just not great for you. The quality of ultra processed foods is rubbish. It's just rubbish. You might as well be eating a rock. If you went out and ate the mud on the ground, you'd probably get more nutrition out of it, to be honest. The ultra processed foods are 60% of our regular foods. There's far too much of it on the shelves. They're sold in all supermarkets and shops. You go into a shop and Jeannie Mac, you're going up to the till and you have to literally go through a snake of all these flipping sweets and bars and drinks and everything. And not one of them is edible, if you're trying to watch what you're eating. Because they're all ultra processed, they're full of additives, they're full of sugars, and they're going to make you feel very tired and stuff after eating them, to be honest. You might get a little high for maybe a little while, but then you're down and it'll dull you. It's like if you went out for 3 pints on a Friday night. Saturday morning, you're going to be feeling it. It's like that after bad food. You'll feel it the next day. You won't feel energetic or lively or anything. You'll feel like you won't feel as good as you would if you ate proper food. And it's easy enough. I mean, if you have porridge, I'll go through some of the foods here that I have, okay, so that you get a feel for what I'm talking about. Okay, so in the morning time, I would have some porridge. I keep it in this big jar. And I cook it in water, and then I would add some chia seeds, some flax seeds. I don't have them here at the moment. They're in the press. I forgot them. And then I've changed from yogurt to kefir. It's very little difference in it, practically no difference, but you get far more nutritious from kefir, right? It's like a Greek yogurt. It's gorgeous. So I put a dollop of that on top, and then I put some of these salad toppers. They're gorgeous. Put them on top, and it gives it a bit of crunch. You can put a tiny bit of honey on there. The honey I only use a small bit, but this is a great honey. I think we can get that in Aldi. It's a great honey, but it's pure honey. It needs to be raw, unblended honey, right? That's very important. Otherwise, you're just getting a load of sugar. There's no nutrition really. So it's better to get a raw and unblended. That means it comes from a single origin. It's not coming all over the place, getting bits and pieces from everything. Okay. Then you have, over the weekend, I made some stewed apple from cooking apples, and I added a tablespoon or two of apple cider vinegar, stewed them up and put them in a jar like the big one here. And that was gorgeous. Great on top of your porridge as well. Nutritional yeast. This is lovely. It's got a kind of a cheesy flavor to it, and it's full of your Bs, your B12s. And you can sprinkle that into dishes, and it adds a bit of nutrition, because what you want to do is build on your nutritional density of your dishes, right? So you can put a bit of that in, a tablespoon in, and it'll enrich your meal. The Cajun pepper, it is fabulous for, you can use paprika if you want. Paprika is fabulous. It's milder, but if you want a slight kick, put in a half a spoon of this into your soups, into your stews and stuff. It's great. Balsamic vinegar is great for salads. It's gorgeous. You have bouillon instead of stock cubes. Stock cubes are full of salt. Bouillon is much, much better, right? You could also use, if you wanted, you could use miso. This is a very good miso. It's white miso. It's Japanese. And apparently, my lady in the shop tells me that it is the best one you can get. And it's lovely. I had a mug of it this morning, just like a tea. I usually add it into soups or Japanese soups and add in your veg and stuff, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Now we have, of course, our nuts. Now, with my nuts and seeds, you get big bags. I got a big extra large bag of almonds. Almonds are great. If you want to make a pesto, you don't have to use pine nuts if you don't want. You can use any nut, but you can use pesto using your basil and your salt, and you bash them in your container, and then you add about 8 to 10 almonds and smush those in as well. Add in a bit of Parmesan and then a bit of olive oil, and presto, you have your homemade pasta or pesto. Gorgeous. You can also use it for making almond milk. You just add water, blend it in the blender and sieve it, and away you go there. So yeah, this is Eat the Frog. This is actually a book I wanted to show you. It's completely off the topic now, but it's about how you think and how to get over the first task of the day must be the most difficult task of the day, and then you move on to everything else. So that's about. Very good book. We did those, we did that. Okay, we're coming over here. Now I watch Sophie's Choice. Sophie swaps a lot. So These are some tips I got from my shop and other tips I got from Sophie. So these are mushroom extracts, which are excellent, absolutely excellent. They're supposed to be very good for energy and stuff, but mushrooms in themselves, even medicinal mushrooms, I hear lately, the latest studies on them are very promising, and there's no side effects. Now, I'm not promoting those, but I don't know if any are into them. I'm not, but anyway. Next thing I have, this is from Sophie Swap. It's Breakfast Boost. And what it is, it's seeds, and it has all the vitamins and everything you could want. And it's for the Good For You brand, which is also the brand for the super seed salads over here. Excellent to put on your porridge. Another one is that one. That was Breakfast Boost. This is Breakfast Boost as well for kids, but I just use it myself anyway. Same thing, put it over your food. Then you have bee pollen. That's very, very good. Very good for you. And then we have, what have we got here? Oh, organic saline cinnamon. Only cinnamon you should buy. It's really, really, really good for you, right? It helps with sugar spikes. So if you're diabetic or anything, or just regular person, to help you with your sugar spikes, you throw a little bit, sprinkle of this, a little bit of this, and everything. I sprinkle it in everything, my porridge, over my apples, everything. Let's see what else I have. I have my cacao powder. Love that. More almonds. Okay, so organic rye protein. This is very good. Your protein levels, you should be getting at least 30 grams of protein in each meal, right? So adding the protein to your yogurts or anything, that's very good. And then we have, of course, Himalayan salt. Yeah, very, very good. So there's a few ideas. Let's see, a few ideas of little things you can add into your diet and your foods, just to bump them up in nutrition, because that's what we want, right? We want to add levels to our foods that will bump it up and give us more, because that will give us more energy, right? And it'll feed our body, because our body our body is so complex, right? That it needs a lot of help, right? I think pears are a good fruit to start with. Yes, actually, yes, they're very good. They're very good. They're very gentle on your system. Yes. If you poach your pears, just stick them in the oven and poach them, and you can put a little bit of Greek yogurt over them. If you found that the Greek yogurt works, but just to start with, just poach them as they are, or bake them, and you'll be fine. Yeah. So I did the flip there, right? Flip flag. So flag is next, right? Nutritional information is very, very important. So the sugar, salt, and saturated fats need to be low, right? So your sugar by grams, I would prefer it to be 5 grams or less. I'd say maybe 10 to 12 is a max if you have to. Then your salt is next. Your salt should be very low, 0.5, 0.7. If at a max, 1.3. I wouldn't be going over that, right? You want to keep these as low as possible. And then your saturated fats under 1.5, right? And again, as low as you can get them. So they're the levels that you need, right? So I go over them again. The sugar, go from 5 grams to max 12 grams, 10 to 12 grams, right? I would keep it as low as I can, right? Then the salt, 0.5, 0.7, but if you have to, 1.3. And the beans now, there's a salt there, 1.2, and there is 1.5. So I wouldn't be going above 1.5 for the salts, for sure. And be careful what you're buying. If you're buying things like beans that you know are very nutritional, that's fine. If you're buying sea as in fish, you should be fine, because it's the ocean waters and stuff would have salts and stuff. But you want to keep them as low as possible, right? Because you want to be getting your salts from Himalayan salt, our seasonings are very good. At the moment now, Jim's not allowed salt at all, apparently. But I need salt because I'm the opposite to him. I have low blood pressure, and he has high blood pressure. So basically, the Himalayan salt, if you're eating any salt, Celtic sea salt or Himalayan salt are probably the best two. Table salt is a no-no. I carry my own salt around with me in my bag if I have to, because I will not touch that table salt. And if you're in a restaurant and they don't have it on the table, ask, because 50% of the time I ask and they say yes, and the other times they say no. And if they say no, I just leave it, put a bit of pepper on, and you're fine. You know. Okay, so we have that was flag, right? Now the fuel. Fuel is to do with protein, fiber, and healthy fats. These are very, very, very important, right? If you're eating the right food and you're not eating massive meals, right, you should be able to maintain your weight. The thing that puts on weight is all the processed, the ultra processed foods and the cakes and the buns and the you know whats and the drinks and all that. That's what puts on weight. You're drinking and eating your crap food, and you're putting on weight, right? Okay. I don't do that much exercise and I eat properly and I don't put on weight. And if I put on 1 or 2 pounds, it's because I've eaten a tub of yogurt. Do you know? I mean, I've just overdone it with the yogurt, you know, because I love it. But basically, realistically, when you're eating nuts and seeds, you have a fistful of each, right? Okay, a fistful of each. And if you're going out, like say we go out for a walk at the weekends or we might go for a drive or whatever, bring your emergency pack, which is your little, we have a bag there and we bring our teas and we bring our nuts and we bring our fruit and we bring our whatever else we bring. We might bring a tub of yogurt or whatever. We might bring sandwiches or whatever. Bring with you you can bring nuts and seeds everywhere you go, right? Because if you get packaged and you eat a handful of nuts or seeds, you're flying it. You're grand, okay? You can add a few berries in there if you want as well, right? And have those. So if you get delayed, at least you've something to eat. So when you come home, you don't eat all the wrong things, right? The other thing is if you're drinking a lot or you're going out drinking, you will make bad choices after that because you get over hungry and you have a few drinks and you don't care and you see whatever comes to you, right? So that's when you'll make bad decisions. It's all about making the good decisions and having the good foods in the press. So your measurements now, right, for your fuel, which is your protein, fiber, and healthy fats, is your protein should be 30 grams per meal, right? 30 grams per meal. Throw a bit of chicken on there into your whatever. Throw a bit of peanut butter onto your porridge. You have 30 grams of protein. You can throw a bit of nuts. By the time you've thrown a bit of nuts and seeds and protein and yogurt and or kefir and all that into your porridge, you've loads of protein, right? Fiber. We're all deficient in fiber. None of us have enough fiber in our diets, right? We need to have at least 6 grams of fiber. That's 17.1, example, 17.1 grams of our points of fiber. If you see it on a thing on the back of a label, it says 17.1 is needed. That number needs to be high, right? Okay, you need lots of fiber. Let me what's on here. Fiber 3.8 on that tin of beans and 1.5 on that tin of beans. So again, your fiber needs to be high, right? Your protein needs to be high. So if you look at that, it says 3.8 of fiber and 4.1 of protein. This one says 1.5 of no. Oh, that's not fiber. That's fat. Doesn't say anything about the fiber there. Hang on a minute. Oh, hang on. Here we go. Okay, so fiber is 6.2. That's good. And protein is 4.6. So that's actually better. And that is the simple range of baked beans. Okay, so I wouldn't be eating too many baked beans now. I'd more encourage you to be eating the beans, like the kidney beans and the black beans and those. You can make a lovely mixed bean casserole, which is gorgeous, and put lentils in there as well. It would be beautiful. So yeah, so that's your fiber needs to be as high as possible, right? Your healthy fats or your monosaturates, right? They need to be a good level. Don't know if I have those here, but if you see them at all, where they are. But your good fats need to be like your good fats would be olive oil, right? If you get olive oil, don't go for palm oil or any other oils. Go for the olive oil. See, I'm thirsty today. So that's the sugar content. 4 grams of sugar is equal to 1 spoon of sugar, right? That's why you need to keep your sugar down as low as you can. Now, if you're making a dish, and you have to put in a bit of sugar, I would be putting in the brown sugar or the honey, pure honey, the raw unfiltered honey, right? If you have to add sugar. But I mean, raw unfiltered honey is just as good, really. Keep saturated fats low as possible. The good fats would be nuts, seeds, avocados, extra virgin olive oil, etc., etc. So those 3 things you have the flip, flag, and fuel. You need to get a balance between all 3. Then you know you're on the right track, right? Try whole grain pastas, right? Preferably from Italy, right? Mind your spices so they don't have sugar in them. Unbelievable. I cannot understand how they're putting sugar into their drinks or their foods or their spices. This is coconut water. Really, really nice. 100% coconut water. Can get it in little. At the moment, I think there's 20% off it for one of them. And normally they're around €2.30 or something like that. But you can add a bit of raw cacao powder to that as well. And it makes it chocolatey, which is gorgeous. Okay, so, all right, so what can I add ask yourself every time you're cooking a dish, what can I add into this dish that will make it more nutritionally dense? Right now, if you've got a coffee grinder, you can put your nuts and seeds into it and grind it down into a kind of a powder, and add that into your soups and stuff. I add in the kidney beans to my soups, and I would add in the crushed nuts and seeds as well. Bits of chicken into your soups, just pop it in. It's gorgeous. Something like rye bread with scrambled egg on top, right? You could have a little bit of paprika on top, a little bit of pepper. Away you go. You're hitting your fiber, you're hitting your protein, and you're hitting your omega-3s, right? Your omega-3s are very, very, very important, right? Eggs are full of nutrition, right? You can also, when you do your scrambled egg, you can crush a bit of nuts and seeds on top of that as well. Add more nutritional value. Or you can put on a good for you blend of things that I showed you there, the salad toppers or the boosters with the nuts, seeds and berries. So that can be put on it as well. There is a blend or a brand called Find, F-I-I-D, and they do a little curry bowl. And it's very good. It's got excellent ingredients in it. And you can add, I did it now the other night because I got it in Sophie's box. And I added a bit of pasta into it. Now, I wouldn't recommend putting pasta into it. I put in stuffed pasta shells. It was a bit too heavy. So I just put in thin strips of chicken, right? Preferably home-cooked chicken, and put in strips of that into it, and it'll be quite nice. Yeah, it'd be lovely. So the other thing that's very good, and I had it today for my lunch actually, a sourdough. I had a sourdough toasted sandwich today, which was absolutely gorgeous. I met a friend there before, and it was beautiful. And it's good to see because sourdough is very good. It's a good bread to have. I wouldn't recommend any of the bought breads, all these Brennans and stuff like that. White bread is a no-no. It'll kill your system, right? If you want to go for brown soda bread, do again look at the ingredients. But the sourdough is perfect, and you can get brown sourdough in Lidl. I mean, it's perfectly fresh and everything there. Then you can put a bit of tin sardines on top. Gorgeous. And sprinkle a bit of nuts and seeds on top, and away you go. You're getting your proteins, you're getting your fiber, and you're getting your omega 3s as well. So that's what you want. You want to be getting all your, and you will not be full. You will not be hungry after this. I had a sandwich this lunchtime. I'm full to the gills. Like, I mean, a sourdough sandwich is a proper sandwich. You got proper chewing in it and everything, and you got had a good meat in it and good veg in it, and it was gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And if you want to have it for your dinner, you can make a perfectly good sandwich with sweet potato fries on the side for your dinner. Put a bit of nutritional yeast onto the potatoes, or the what you call it, sweet potatoes, um, and basically then just stick them in the air fryer. Put a bit of parmesan on it, and away you go. You're rocking. It's absolutely to die for. Okay, so let's see, what else have I got here? A few fake foods. Okay, you can pretty much tell a fake food when you see it. Any of those packaged foods, that last longer than the life itself. It's kind of like tinned meats with everything in it. I couldn't believe it, but custard doesn't even have eggs in it. Bec- I couldn't believe it. I was like gobsmacked because they don't last. They have all these like colorings and preservatives and gels and everything. They're all thrown in there. And I love custard, but I will not be eating custard anymore. So the other thing is the milkshakes have no strawberry. A strawberry milkshake has no strawberries in it, and it's full of fat, bad fat, like. There's calories in a milkshake are huge. I couldn't get over the amount of calories in it. I mean, you could be talking 900 calories in a milkshake. I mean, it's ridiculous. So anyway, what you want to avoid is the emulsifiers, the fillers, the sugars, and the colorings, right? You definitely want to avoid those. If you see any E's or anything, fillers, emulsifiers, colorings, get rid of them. Get rid of that food. You don't need it. There's enough delicious food out there, right, that you can make without, resorting to those. And you'll thank yourself for it because you will start to feel better. Um, they they brought in a sugar tax, right? So now what manufacturers are doing is they're not putting in the sugar because they don't want the taxes. They're putting in all these other sweeteners and stuff, which are like 4 times as sweet as any sugar. So be very careful with those. Yeah, very, very bad. So any of those fructoses or toasters you need to avoid for sure. Okay, so bring your emergency pack everywhere. Always bring food with you when you go out, right? Always. You'll always have a couple of mandarins in the fridge, or a couple of apples, bananas, a flask of tea or coffee. You might have nuts and seeds. Put them in a little glass jar. Bring them with you. You might want to bring whatever you decide, but it's pretty easy. We have them all. Like I have, I don't have them here now, but I have the little jars, and I have them there. They're in the press. I have a big jar of nuts as well, but I have a small jar. Whenever we're going out, I top it up, and off we go with our little food, so I don't get hungry. You can improve your mood and energy by improving the eating pattern you just choose. Make make bolognese with mushrooms and black beans. Ooh, yes, that's one I'm going to try. I got that one. I think it was off Jamie Oliver today. Yeah, I didn't. I have to go back and get the whole thing, but I just saw him saying, Mushrooms and black beans. I guess they're mixed. They're in the blender, and you mix them, and then you put them in, and you make bolognese out of it. It's supposed to be very good. You could also buy half the meat that you want to buy. Buy a turkey, which is leaner if you want, or a chicken. But you can add in the mushrooms and the beans and fill the food. It's if you want to make it cheaper. I think he does dishes for two people for under a fiver, which is incredible. So he has got some healthy tips there. Now, sauerkraut. You can make it with red or green cabbage or white cabbage, whatever you want. You take the cabbage, right? You remove the outer layers. You finely chop or grate it. Then you put it in a bowl. You add in a bit of salt and you massage it all together. Give it a good massage so all the salt goes in. I would be using a good salt with this too. Your Celtic salt or your Himalayan salt, just massage it in. Then you would put it in a sieve and you'd squash it out so all the water is sieved out. You would put it in a big sieve if you want as well, and squash it so all the liquid is gone. And then you place it in a small little container with a sealed top, and you leave it in there and you squash it in so there's no air and no space left. And then you store it for 7 days, and then you open it up and you have your sauerkraut. Now, we do that with red cabbage. Jim does it with red cabbage, actually. And we're doing it again next weekend now because I love it and I'm going to make it with him. Because I've actually never made it. But the red one is gorgeous. I love it. I love it. He makes it very well. So that's quite nice. Food is very important to put in your body, but what's equally as important is how you talk to yourself. Have respect for yourself, talk to yourself properly, and prop yourself up. Believe in yourself, right? Respect yourself. It's very, very important, right? It's as good for your body as food, right? And you can change your mood or your state in 2 seconds flat if you talk to yourself positively and you G yourself up, by changing your state, because you can get kind of sluggish and kind of, yeah, I'm fine, whatever. But if you change your state, you can pick yourself up, put your chin up and your shoulders back and go, yes, what do I want to do now? And you can G yourself up by changing your state very quickly. And that is very important. They say one of the most important things you do is change what's between your ears, change your outlook, how you speak to yourself, and how you believe in yourself. So that's very important. Just thought I would throw that in. Okay, so when you're looking for foods, I said this already, if you're looking for economical pieces of good food, chicken legs and thighs are the best value to eat, right? If you're buying chicken, buy it with the skins on and the bone in. You can remove the skin if you want, quite easily, it pulls off. You can remove the legs if you want, just run the knife along the legs and pop them out. There is this kind of it's a butterfly chicken. And what you do is you get your chicken thighs and you take out the bone, you take off the skin, and then you flatten it down, right? And then you season it, right? And then you put it on a piece of cloth to just let it sit there for a minute, let the seasoning get into it. And then you take the skins and you put them in a frying pan. I'm trying to remember this now from memory earlier on. Put it in a frying pan and you fry it off, and then you take out the fat and you're left with pure fat, right, from the skin of the chicken, right, which isn't bad for you. They're actually good fats, right? But you take out the chicken when it's kind of the skin, when it's cooked and it's nice and crispy, put it aside, and then you put in your chicken and you flatten it down, you put it in the pan, you cook it on either side for a couple of minutes, whatever. Then you put kitchen towel over it and you put a plate on top of it and you squash it down, right? Then you take the plate away and you put lid on top of it to cover it. And it cooks away then for another while. And what happens is it cooks quicker, first of all, right, which saves you money on cooking and electricity. But the other thing is it's lovely and moist, and it's lovely and crispy at the same time, right? So you'd only cook it for a couple of minutes, right? Okay, so that's lovely. And what you can do with that then is you can basically eat it with veg, and sweet potato fries or a baked potato or whatever. A baked potato is very good for you because you have the skin. The skin is fibre in itself. The skins of anything are good for you. Just make sure you give them an old scrape and a wash and you're grand. But the skins, you need your fibre, right? So a baked potato is great. You can also, if you want to get a bit of sourdough bread, put a bit of that pesto I told you about earlier on the sourdough bread, then put a little bit of lettuce, then put your chicken breast on, then put a bit of tomato, a little bit of pesto, and you can have a burger out of that with sourdough bread or a sandwich, whatever you want. You squash it down, cut it in half, and eat it away. You can use sourdough bread, or you can use there's these tin baps you can get, which are multigrain, which are pretty good. Um, so yeah, that's good. Or you could just use a pita bread, a whole grain pita bread, and put it in the middle of it, and put everything on top. But what it is it's a healthy burger because it has the chicken breast in it. So it's a chicken burger, but it's healthy. So that's very good. That's very good. Okay, all righty, and that's nearly it. I did the pesto, I did the burger. Okay, all righty.